Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of NASCAR Heat for Career Mode. I hope you're all having a great day. Today we go into Texas for the second race of the round of 8 here in the Cup Series. But first up we have both the Trucks and Xfinity Series races where we had Jimmie Johnson actually in the truck for our team here in Martinsville, a legend at a track like Martinsville. Unfortunately, in real life, Jimmie Johnson announced that he had tested positive for you-know-what, and he is going to be missing the Brickyard 400. So we hope for a very speedy recovery for Jimmie Johnson and his wife, and hopefully we see him back at the track soon. But we came through right to the final lap because Jimmie had climbed up to P2, but that was as far as he got. He was running from second from that first lap right up to the last. So he crossed the line to finish in P2 here in Martinsville, which puts us in a very good spot, though, going into the next race of the Truck Series, where we'll be deciding the Final Four at Phoenix. There, as you see, going into Phoenix, our truck team is 11 points to the good. So now we come through into the Xfinity Series, and keep in mind we are not in the playoff picture right now in the Xfinity Series, but we had subscriber Kyler Scott in the car for us here tonight at Texas Motor Speedway. There, as you see, the pole winner of Chase Briscoe. It was a Stuart Haas Racing front row with both Briscoe and Cole Custer there running P1 and P2. But either way, we would get underway here in Texas. Kyler Scott would get aggressive right off the bat, going up the inside of the 39, making it 3 wide there for a brief moment now as he came through turns 1 and out of turn 2, getting to the inside of the 22 of Cindric, making some passes on him as he went down the back straightaway. So he was moving his way forwards very quickly on this first opening lap here at Texas Motor Speedway. Texas, a track we always seem to struggle at on the short run in the Cup Series, and then we kind of pick up in the long run, and that's usually what happens here, it seems like, in the Xfinity Series as well. So Kyler moving his way forwards right off the bat was definitely a big boost of confidence now as he came through out of turns 4. A little bit later, actually going 3 wide up the middle there between Ross Chastain and Cole Custer there. There was a little bit of contact down the front straightaway and more contact as they come through, crashing now across the line down into turns 1. Scott gets turned head on into the outside wall by Chastain, and that would completely take us out of the race here in Texas, and it turned it into a P38 finish, unfortunately, now, as it was Noah Gragson picking up the victory here in Texas Motor Speedway. Now, as we come through into myself for Cup Series qualifying at Texas, we won Martinsville. We're locked into the Final Four. We have nothing to worry about now, so just in great shape. We can just do whatever we want in this race. Obviously, the goal is to win, but if we can maybe help our teammate Kurt Busch maybe in the process, I would definitely not be against that. If we could get both Chip Ganassi cars in the Final Four, that would be really cool, because I don't think we've ever had a Final Four with one of them in the Cup Series career mode. Now as we come through to cross the line there, not good compared to the goal, and we go down in P17 here for Texas. So not the best qualifying effort, but I'm confident that as the run gets longer, we'll have a chance to run up towards the front now. And on the pole, we got Joey Logano here as we get ready to go green.
NASCAR roars back to Texas for the AAA Texas 500. They say everything is bigger in Texas. Well, for the remaining playoff contenders, the stakes don't get any bigger than this. Who will win today and clinch a spot in the championship? Let's find out.
All right, thank you, Rick Allen. We're ready to go green here for the AAA Texas 500 now as Daniel Suarez. We're going to have to watch out for him today. Last time we came to this track, we had a lot of issues with Daniel Suarez there, as you saw the pole winner of Joey Logano ready to take the green flag and lead this field down into turns 1 as Paul Menard is starting in the back after failing pre-race inspection. Now, as we are ready to go green for the second round of the round of 8, we are the only driver that comes into this race in a comfortable position. We won Martinsville. We're locked into the Final Four. Denny Hamlin is in the next best spot now as we are underway here for the second race of this round now as we make the dive down into turns 1. Hamlin, always the driver to watch, and I'm sure we're going to have to keep an eye out for him today. He ran pretty solid in Martinsville. He comes into this race with a very good buffer, and then we got our teammate Kurt Busch who's up in the mix. Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano, Chase Elliott, they're all up in the mix as well, fighting for one of those Final Four positions. Alex Bowman as well in this round, but he seems to be already off to a bit of a rough start now as we come through turns 4. He's up here in P16, just in front of myself as we come through down the front straightaway to complete the first and opening lap. Jimmie Johnson going 3 wide up in front of us there as I am going to nearly take it 3 wide into turns 1, but then I actually decided to back out of it. Kind of hurt my own momentum, but just wanted to make sure we kept the car clean at this point here early on in the race now as we go down this backstretch, using the momentum to my advantage, but I couldn't get down to the inside, and the inside obviously is where you want to be now as we're up towards the back of Jimmy Johnson now as we exit turns 4 there. Byron on my inside at this point, but then we would get to the inside of Jimmy Johnson on lap 3. We would pass him. Denny Hamlin had briefly taken the lead at this point in the race as we came through out of turns 4, passing Byron. Then we get to the inside of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. now, and as we went down into turns 3 on lap 6, we passed him for P14 as we're just slowly starting to click off the positions at this point here in Texas. We come through to lap 10 now, almost the halfway point of stage 1. We had run down Almirola, Bowman, and Boyer, so we get up now to P13 after passing the Stuart Haas driver of Eric Almirola. Then we would also pass Bowman, and then we would pass Boyer for P11. Our teammate Kurt Busch had actually taken the lead at this point in the first stage now as we come through on lap 13, and then in front of us through turn 3, Denny Hamlin, a big playoff contender, goes crashing into the outside wall now as he gets nailed by Clint Boyer as a caution would come out here late in this first stage. As I decide, everyone actually comes to the pit lane for 2 cans of fuel and 4 tires. I decided though to make some pretty big adjustments to get the car loosened up now as the green flag would be back in the air with just 4 laps to go here in the first stage, but a big shake-up right there. Denny Hamlin, the top driver all season long, has just crashed and will be sent to the bank, which means no chance for a playoff point, or for a stage point, I should say, here in stage 1. Now, Denny Hamlin, the thing to look at here is he's still on track. He is not DNF'd, so it is not over for Denny Hamlin now, as if a DNF for him at this point in the race really could be a big hit on his season. Now, as we go down into turns 3, following Eric Jones, myself and Suarez actually made contact there. He got very sideways. Then they would go 3 wide for the lead. Jones, Logano, Elliott all up in the mix. Kurt Busch in front of us. All those drivers battling for one of the final few spots in the final 4 now, as Kurt Busch is the one that we obviously want to see prevail. So I was trying to help my teammate right here of Kurt Busch, just kind of letting him have this bottom lane there as he nearly made contact with the 22 of Joey Logano. As I made contact with Suarez now, as we're still on the inside of Suarez as he was forcing us down on the exit of turns 4 here as we approach the final lap in the stage. Kurt Busch to the inside. Elliott, as we make more contact with Suarez, we turn him across the line as the stage hits the final lap and they go crashing behind in the distance. A caution comes out. Stage 1 ends early. Chase Elliott wins the stage as I just kind of got fed up right there with Daniel Suarez, and I just completely turned him. Shouldn't have done that because I saw the opportunity for our teammate Kurt Busch to win the stage, but I just kind of got fed up and just completely hooked the 41. But we would not come to the pit lane here for the end of stage 2. We would stay out and get ready to go back green here now for the second stage, which is now underway here. 20 laps to go here in stage 2. Chase Elliott, Kurt Busch on the front row, myself down here in P5 as I did not have a good launch at all off the restart now as we come through the center of turns 1 and 2. Now Kurt Busch kind of starts to stall on the exit of the corner as we head down this backstretch. Truex and Bowman side by side behind us there as we go down towards turns 3. There you see Suarez kind of fading in behind the 18 of Kyle Busch as he would actually get to the inside of him now. As you see Eric Jones all the way up top there on the exit of turns 4, but uses that momentum to stay clear of the one curve. Kurt Busch, then Suarez got back to my inside and actually made a little bit of contact with me down the front stretch as we went down into turns 1. He gets to the inside now of Truex as I was having a bit of a rough start here to the second stage. Chase Elliott still out front at this point now as we try to use that momentum here down the backstretch to clear Alex Bowman, and sure enough we get clear of the 88 and get back down to that bottom lane down into turns 3. But there you see Daniel Suarez now trying to get up the inside of our teammate of Kurt Busch now as we're going to be just side by side right in front of us there between Suarez and Eric Jones. As I go down into turns 1, I back out of it because I did not want to be side by side with Suarez. He would move his way forwards and we would climb up now into P6. Kurt Busch though had worked his way up into the front position once again here in stage 2. He was so close to winning stage 1, but out of turns 4 there's big issues behind us. Denny Hamlin has just blown a right front tire the second time he has crashed, this time a huge hit for Denny Hamlin. And once again though, to our surprise, Denny Hamlin would not DNF. He would still be in the race now as we would get right back into the action. The green flag back out, and what could have been a complete, just massive blow to his chances of making the Final Four. Somehow he lucks out and is still in this race now, as usually it's like a one and done system for the AI. They crash once out of the race a lot of the time. Denny Hamlin has like defied the odds now, as he has crashed twice in this race and is still in this race now as we go down this back straightaway into turns 3, just behind the 4 of Kevin Harvick. We're going to make it 3 wide between him and the 88 of Alex Bowman. I go a little bit wide there through turns 3 and out of turns 4 now, as we're going to still be 3 wide down the front straightaway now, as Eric Jones is going to get into the mix as well with 12 to go here in stage 2. Kurt Busch out front by Daniel Suarez was going to look to the inside of him through turns 1, and he would actually get the lead for a brief moment here as they went down the back stretches. We're just falling down the order on this restart. So far the restarts have not played into my favor as we go down into turns 3, though thankfully able to get to that bottom lane. So we come through now 3 wide down the front stretch as we hit 11 to go in stage 2. Bowman on my outside, and then the 20 goes sideways, makes a big save through turns 1 and turns 2. Kurt Busch was back up to the front position after passing the 41 of Daniel Suarez. Now as we're right on the back of Kevin Harvick down the backstretch, 7th place we are in now as we go down into turns 3. Harvick goes all the way to the top, and obviously I hop on the opportunity to get to the inside of him, as well as Eric Jones, as we would climb up to P6 there, and then we would just continue on our way forwards. We pass Jones for P5. We come through now on lap 12 of stage 2 as we came out of turns 2, right on the back now of Joey Logano, and once again there's more problems now through turns 1 and 2. Ryan Newman goes crashing into the outside wall. Big contact from a few other drivers as a caution would come out again here in the second stage, as we would pit this time for 2 cans of fuel, 4 tires, no adjustments this time as we would get ready to go green. Kurt Busch did not come to the pit lane, and neither did Denny Hamlin or the 52 of Cody Ware. So Denny Hamlin, who's crashed twice this race, now finds himself up in the second position with just 6 laps to go here in stage 2. Maybe a big strategy call that could very well play into the advantage of Hamlin, not at the end of the second stage, but going into the third stage when we will have to pit again here in just a handful of laps now, as we have a big push from behind our rival of Daniel Suarez, letting it be known that I am still a rival. Definitely have a bit of a concern on how he's going to race us in Homestead, Miami. At this point now, though, as the 41 is going to give us a big shove again down the front straightaway, we get right to the back of our teammate Kurt Busch, and then the 41 nearly hooks me down the front stretch like we hooked him earlier on that final lap. In stage 1, as he's going to push me all the way down into turns 1, and he does not lift now as he pushes us all the way up nearly to the outside wall as we drift now outside of the top 5 down the back stretch. Harvick, Hamrick, they all go past me, and then the 14 of Boyer as well, but we would be able to fade in behind Boyer, get back in front of him. Then Suarez got to me again, hits me through the middle of the corner and shoves me out of the way again, so I would lose a spot to him and Clint Boyer. So we drifted now down to P8 as we hit 3 to go on the stage, but then we come to just 2 to go now, approaching the final lap of the stage. Hamlin was driving away with the stage victory. We got past Boyer, got to the inside of Eric Jones now, back up in P6 just behind Suarez as we went down into turns 1. He's up the inside of our teammate of Kurt Busch, and just really surprising though to see Denny Hamlin on older tires driving away. So clearly Hamlin has a very fast car, and he's going to set himself up brilliantly going into this third and final stage as we come through turns 3, clearing the 20 of Jones, but he's going to fight back now nearly on the outside, but then he kind of stalls out there as Keselowski looks to his inside now as we come through to cross the line just in front of him for P6. Kurt Busch finishes in P5 in front of us there. Suarez 4th, Hamrick up there in 3rd, Kevin Harvick 2nd, and Denny Hamlin wins the second stage after crashing twice just a little bit ago now, as we would have to come back to the pit lane for 2 cans of fuel again, as well as 4 tires, and I decided to make another adjustment on the wet to get it loosened up a little bit more. So now we would get ready to restart in the 5th position here for the 3rd and final stage, which is now underway here at Texas Motor Speedway. Denny Hamlin looks to be able to win himself in to the Final 4 here with just 39 laps to go, as we're going to get aggressive on this restart though, going 3 wide into turns 1 here to get up now into P3, passing both Hamrick and Suarez as we look to the inside of Kevin Harvick. Side by side for that second position here. Behind us, it's Kurt Busch and Daniel Suarez now as we go down into turns 3, trying to take over that second position. And sure enough, Harvick, he runs all the way up by the wall, and that allows me to get clear here for P2 now as Kurt Busch tries to put on the pressure. I decide we're going to give second place to Kurt Busch. I knew he had the speed, so I decided to just kind of stay out of his way, let him have that second position without a fight, because he needs every single point he can get right now here in Texas, and as well going into the next race at at Phoenix now as we head down this back stretch, settling in to the 3rd position now as Harvick would be chilling there in P4 just behind us. And surprisingly, obviously, Harvick, Kyle Busch, Martin Truex Jr., drivers like them all outside looking in right now, or not outside looking in, they're completely out of the playoffs now, I should say now, as we came through to lap 50, 35 to go. Daniel Suarez, my rival, he had gotten to me, and then he would actually be able to come through turns 3 and out of turns 4 and make a pass on me as I just had nothing for the 41 of Daniel Suarez, who I think actually had the fastest car in the field. He was just kind of getting stuck behind other people. Now as we come through to 33 to go, Kyle Busch had now gotten to my inside. He would drive past me, then Chase Elliott was getting up in the mix but couldn't quite get past us, along with Kevin Harvick now, who was stuck behind me as well as we went down into turns 3. Then the caution would come out here with 33 laps to go, so we would have to get ready here for a restart. Nobody was coming to the pit lane, so we would stay out and get ready to go green from once again P5 now here in Texas. Hamlin and Kurt Busch on the front row, and in the top 5 we got 3 drivers that are in the playoffs, because Suarez, Kyle Busch, they're all on the outside of the playoffs. Unfortunately for them now, as we go down into turns 1, Suarez looked like he was going to make the playoffs for the majority of the season, but then he got caught up in trying to crash into me too much and ended up missing the playoffs now, as he definitely could have made it in the playoffs, I think, if it wasn't for the rivalry that we had with him throughout this season. Now as we come through the center of turns 3 and out of turn 4, Kurt Busch now drifts down into P3 as we go down this front stretch, clear of Kyle Busch. We are there as we cross the line. Kurt would actually get back past Suarez, and then I would look to the inside of the 41 as we came through the center of turns 1 and 2, and we would be able to pass the 41 as well, drift up in front of him. He gives me a big push down the back stretch here, and that would allow us both to stay ahead of Kevin Harvick. Then he would run the top lane again through turn 3, and I just once again got back down to that bottom lane, and surprisingly, we would be able to stick here a little bit with the 11 and the 1 of Kurt Busch. Now as we came through on lap 60, hitting lap 61, Kurt would actually make a move to the inside of Denny Hamlin for the lead as he went down into turns 1. At this point, only 25 laps to go here in Texas as they came through the corner, and then we come through a few laps later on lap 62. Hamlin now crossed over on Kurt Busch. He looks to the inside of him through turns 3 and out of turns 4, so Hamlin would retake the lead from our teammate of Kurt Busch now down this front stretch. And then on lap 63, Kurt, he gets back to the inside of Hamlin. He would once again retake the lead, and that was bringing myself obviously right into the mix of things now here as we hit lap 64. Then on lap 65, Hamlin once again to the inside of Kurt Busch, going for the lead now, as there was some great racing here right in front of us for the front position. And then we come through on lap 67. We had gotten right into the battle, but now the fuel light and the tire light had both come on. Kurt Busch decides he's going to pit here on lap 67, coming to lap 68. Myself and Hamlin, though, decide to stay out another lap. There's actually start running out of fuel going down into turn 3. Then allows Suarez now to get past me. Hamlin onto the pit lane, or down onto the apron, and now as we're actually going to get a little bit aggressive here to make up for the time we just lost now, as we actually close right up on the back of the 11. Suarez actually got to the back of me there going into the pit lane. Thankfully, though, we did not speed, but it was pretty straightforward call. Put in 4 tires and 2 cans of fuel and get back into the action. Here you see, though, we would beat Denny Hamlin off the pit lane. So now we were the leader down the back straightaway on lap 69. Nice. At this point, Kurt Busch had to even beat Denny Hamlin out of the pit cycle now. So he was running me down very quickly. We come through a lap later, lap 70, about to hit lap 71. I move to the outside. I see how much faster the 1 car is. I don't want to hold him up because I know how fast as well the 11 car is of Denny Hamlin. So I'm hoping that Kurt can just drive away. And I was going to do the best I could to defend over Denny Hamlin and hope that Kurt Busch can win this race and get himself into the final 4. We come through on lap 74. Hamlin had already run us down as it went down into turn 3, and he actually completely caught me off guard. He was so fast, got to my inside without any problem. I had nothing for him. He drove away immediately out of turns 4 now as we were approaching just 10 laps to go. We come through now on the exit of turns 2 on lap 75. Hamlin gets to the inside of Kurt Busch and just drives by him with no effort at all. So Kurt Busch will drop down to second. So it was Kurt and myself, P2 and P3. But you could see up ahead, we were running down lap traffic. We got to them now with just 8 laps to go. I don't think we've ever gotten into lap traffic at a track like Texas here in our NASCAR Heat 4 career mode, but I guess there's a first time for everything. We also had green flag pit stops at Watkins Glen earlier this season, so anything can happen now as we go down this back straightaway. But I was doing what I could to run down my teammate Kurt Busch to try and push him forwards now as we came through on lap 77. Kurt right on the back of Hamlin here as we came through heading down this front stretch Busch now, as the lap traffic was making things chaotic. Here as we get into the back of our teammate Kurt, going down into turns 1 there as he had to check up for the 52 of Cody Ware now. As you go down into turns 1, at this point only 7 laps remain in Texas. Now as you go down the back straightaway, Kurt right there still in the back of Hamlin, but would lose a little bit of time into turn 3 as Kligerman would decide he was going to plant his car right in the way there for a moment now. As we would get to the back of our teammate Kurt, try to give him a shove, but I couldn't quite get to his bumper, and then we come through now to just 4 laps to go. Hamlin had started to once again open up the gap between himself and Kurt Busch now as we came through to just 2 to go, approaching the final lap here at Texas Motor Speedway. A lot of lap traffic there in Denny Hamlin's way here as we start the final lap now in Texas for the second race of the round of 8. It's been a chaotic race. Denny Hamlin crashed twice, and here he is leading on the final lap now as we've had many cautions here as we exit turns 2, heading down the back straightaway for the final time. I'm committed to not passing my teammate Kurt Busch at this point as we head down into turns 3 and 4 for the final time. Hamlin gets clear of the traffic. It is a clear sight home for Denny Hamlin as we exit turn 4 side by side with our teammate Kurt Busch. Hamlin wins his way into the final 4 as Kurt Busch barely gets us at the line for the second position now, as there was no way I was going to pass my teammate Kurt Busch there, knowing how every point is going to matter going into the next race at Phoenix. There is now, you see the grid at the end of the race. Bowman, Eric Jones outside of the top 10. Some notables right there now, as it's going to hurt their chances of making the final 4. Now as you see the playoff grid, so myself, Hamlin, we're locked in. Kurt Busch is good by 14 points. Keselowski is good by 8 points. Now, as Logano, Elliott, Bowman, they're on the outside looking in along with Eric Jones as well. So it's going to be a very, very interesting race here in Phoenix. And obviously, myself and Hamlin, we can go into Phoenix and just race as hard as we want. Nothing matters for us. But obviously, there's a lot on the line for the other 6 drivers that are still in the playoffs now. As always, if you guys enjoyed this episode, you do know what to do. And in the next one, we will decide the final 4 for all 3 series. Hopefully, we see our teammate Kurt Busch in the final 4. That would make it both Chip Ganassi drivers going for a championship. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for taking your time out of your day to watch this one. And I will see you guys next time. Have a great day, everybody.